Encapsulate your life in 2 minutes. Grew up down in southern Minnesota, in Winona, Minnesota, and was lucky enough as a kid to be raised in a town that really valued water sports and paddling. And because of them, I was able to learn how to paddle and paddled regularly on the river, but then also went literally all over the world doing different canoe races and canoe trips, and just really instilled a need of paddling in me. And having that access in a small town in southern Minnesota, which is not a place where you saw a lot of adventure sport going on, and to be exposed to what that was just kind of launched me on a career path that I never thought I would have even considered. From there, went from learning that I was selling things to people and getting them outside, and realizing that I was actually more interested in selling the idea of going outside than selling the things to make people go outside. And that got me into advocacy, and that got me into working into literally advocating for the power of outdoor recreation and what it can do for people. And so now I work for the Minnesota Land Trust, and I'm working full-time on trying to make those connections to Minnesota's outdoor spaces. But it all happened because I grew up paddling, which is kind of cool.
My experiences in the wilderness really started out with backcountry skiing when I first came out here. Sort of progressed into exploring in the summer with backpacking and fly fishing, and we just sort of kept progressing and exploring more into different avenues of travel, like mountain biking and pack rafting and paddleboarding, and using all of those different methods to get as far and as deep as we can.
Spent quite a lot of time in Alaska snowboarding, camping on glaciers, and a lot of fly fishing trips and pack rafting trips in the lower 48, like Montana and Wyoming. So it'll be quite new for me going to the flatlands and kind of checking out something totally new.
I'm excited to meet a whole new crew of people, a bunch of strangers who 2 months ago, we became friends when we started planning this trip. It's going to be a fantastic time to travel a great distance through a vast country and just really immerse ourselves and disconnect and just try to take it all in as much as we can.
Yeah, I've always known Hansi as the fish lord. Neil and Ian as the snow gods.
Right, and then there's us, and mere humans.
Yeah, just us mortals that walk.
So we had both had a lifetime of camping and hiking, but the first big trip that we did was the Appalachian Trail in 2016.
I haven't left the bubble of Maine too much. Going down and hiking the AT was actually my first time leaving New England for a big adventure, so it's definitely going to be out there for me.
This is the first time that we've done a multi-day canoe trip. I canoed my whole life, but I don't think I have proper backcountry canoeing experience. Portaging is something I've never done, so I'm excited to meet new people. I'm excited to go out with this crew of people that we've not gone on a trip with before. It's challenging and exciting at the same time of, you don't really know how their style going out into the backcountry is going to be, but I think that's part of the camaraderie is figuring that out while you're out there.
What this really is, what it all comes down to is how to move efficiently in a backcountry environment. Actually moving across a watery landscape in a canoe that's designed to carry you on water, but then also be light enough to carry from one piece of water to the next. That's a unique backcountry skill to have, right? But it's not something that a lot of people pick up super fast, really quickly.
The portages were hard. Portages were totally hard. I don't think we anticipated how hard portages would be.
It's pretty hard to carry those things.
It's super hard and awkward and weird, and the ground is slippery and rocky.
It's really nice when you can actually get back into the boat and get the weight off your shoulders,
Yeah, we're definitely going to have a couple good ones ahead of us on the trip.
It changes the need of how you travel. So you need something that sits stable in a canoe. But because you're in a canoe, you can carry a fair bit of stuff. But then you get to the end of the lakes, and now you got to get out and you got to cross the portage. So you have to carry everything that's in your boat to the next lake. Some of those portages are pretty quick and easy, and they're not too bad. Some of them are truly arduous, big climb, mile-plus long carries. And so you need a pack that's like able to take a lot of disparate things, and you need to throw them into something, get all that plus your food and your gear, and then your canoe on top of that, and carry it across.
We're benefiting so much from having these ultralight canoes and these ultralight camping gear because, every ounce counts, when you're hucking all your stuff across land and then a canoe on top of your head. It requires all of your attention and skill and strength when you're hauling those things through the woods.
We have 3 different groups coming into this with some pretty heavy different mindsets on how they do things. The Provo bros are really into going out so deep and for so long. But to do that, they have to bring the lightest stuff with them. Same thing with through hiking. You're gonna have that on you for months and months. So, you don't want to carry anything you're not gonna use every single day. But coming out here, you want to pack light because the portages are tough, the mileage is long, the days are long. But then you have this time to enjoy out here as well. So you do want the things to enjoy out here.
If you are packed just right, where you can physically get all those bulky items and heavy items, plus the canoe, all across in one push, that's a pretty efficient means of travel. I'd rather have an ultralight canoe and an ultralight pack and the packing ability to do that.
The way that we approached this was go light at all costs, eat, only add water meals, ration everything.
But then we look at Hansi's pack and we'll see something like eggs. Bacon, butter,
And then you got Hansi over there who's just loading up bacon and eggs and all the fixins and
all the
trimmings
fixings.
and everything. A couple feasts he's been batching up.
Backcountry cooking is like a thing. You can have good food in the backcountry, and you have some of the freshest things out there. I've been in spots where I've literally started my stove up, put the butter in, got it just hot enough, and then caught the fish and brought it over. Yeah. That's pretty special. And then on top of it, you got, this kick-ass view and, cool people and just that outdoor environment. Those culinary experiences are mind-blowing, in my opinion. They're part of it. They should be part of it. Well, for one, I'm very mission-driven. So fly fishing is my passion. I love to fly fish. And so you're about to stick me in the middle of literally one of the best places in the world to fly fish. I don't know how Neil and Ian are as anglers. I think they're really passionate anglers.
Man, the fishing potential out here is insane. There's just so much cool water to go fish, and it's just hard to choose the right spots. And
It's not so much hard that there's so much of it. Endless miles of fishable water. The fly is for sure, it presents a whole new challenge. You gotta work a lot harder for it, but I think it's something to be super proud of, to land a fish on the fly out of a canoe that's really light and nimble.
You get a bunch of good anglers together and you're all on a mission. It's kind of fun because you can help each other out and get somebody on the fish, and then that's pretty cool, especially if it's something they haven't caught.
In a way, it's kind of like one of the driving forces for us is to like seek out these places that we haven't been, but which are so relevant to, you know, our pursuits.
Things like fly fishing, it just brings us here, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like a tool to explore these places and just have a way to enjoy yourself.
So you have this still intact ecosystem that has these amazing angling experiences that people come from all over the world to do. And those, especially in the Midwest, they're few and far between. You know, like they're literally disappearing. They're disappearing from the water quality that's killing those fish. They're disappearing through development. They're disappearing through encroachment, agriculture. I mean, it's like endless. So for me, it's both a playground that I can access easily and efficiently, but it's also something I definitely will defend as much as possible to keep it that way for my kid and his kids and everybody else. So yeah, it's a special place.
There's absolutely nothing like this in Maine or the world, you know? It's really hard to believe this actually exists and that we are only doing a tiny portion of it.
Anywhere that there can be water or trees, there are, you know? This terrain sort of lends itself to that feeling of combining creativity with adventure and like just dreaming up routes. It's really just a matter of like putting the willpower in and just going as far as you want to.
It's just so cool to see such an established network of trails that has been around for thousands of years that are still packed out today, and you can take these modern day lightweight canoes and just go so much further with them and live so comfortably and travel so efficiently with these things.
It's such a good challenge. I feel like I haven't had a challenge like that in a long time, and it's really hard, I think, in your adult life to like experience new things and then to do it in like such a physical way. Like, I feel like a boss.
You know, that mantra of the harder you work, the more reward you're gonna get, which I've always liked, and regardless of anything I've ever done, it's like, yeah, I wanna work just a little bit harder than that guy and get just a little deeper and be skilled enough at it and organized enough at it and physically fit enough to be able to pull it off.
I've got a huge fire under my ass now to like go out, plan another adventure, to like push the needle, push myself. It opens up new pathways in your brain when you do shit like that. Especially after this past year. You know, there's been so much going on and so much compounded pressure and stress and anxiety. And so to like, you know, get this band together and do this awesome trip after a year of everyone going through hell is pretty relieving for everyone, you know. It reminds us too how absolutely important it is to keep these places safe, protect them from harm, considering it is so cathartic to be outside and so good for you, and how quickly it can be ruined. Everyone should be like kicking and screaming to keep these places as beautiful as they are.